People are buzzing with excitement, wondering if what you're about to see is a live demonstration of Israel's advanced iron beam technology. For those who might be new to the concept, the iron beam is a game-changing air defense system created by Israel's RAFAEL advanced defense systems, employing cutting-edge directed energy and laser technologies. Stick around, because in the not-so-distant future, it's set to revolutionize how we intercept rockets and mortars, just like the action-packed footage you're about to experience. So, if you don't want to miss any of these details, watch this video till the end. Unmasking fake iron beam clips. Here's a catch when you come across clips like the one you just watched, or another one with almost 6 million views on Twitter claiming to display the iron beam in action. You must know that authentic directed energy or laser weapons don't emit a visible beam of light. This is your first hint that these clips are fake. The first one you saw was technically a genuine Iron Dome intercept, but it had a lens flare, creating light in the camera's field of view. The second one, however, is simply footage from the video game Arma 3. The Iron Beam Unveiled. Now let's shift our focus to the real Iron Beam. How capable is it, and what can it achieve when it enters combat, possibly within the next few days? Let's quickly dive into the system and how it stacks up against other laser systems already in use worldwide. The Iron Beam is a high-energy laser weapon system in the 100 kilowatt class. It's designed to complement, not replace, Israel's renowned Iron Dome air defense system, which is just one part of a 3-layered air defense setup used by Israel to defend against various airborne threats. Comparing air defense titans. People often compare the Iron Dome and systems like the MIM-104 Patriot, but they're engineered to address distinct threats. The Patriot air defense system is tailored for more diverse threats and typically wouldn't intercept mortars, which the Iron Dome excels at handling. Conversely, the Iron Dome wouldn't attempt to intercept ballistic missiles, a task that the Patriot system is well suited for. Iron Dome versus Patriot system. The Iron Dome is effective at distinguishing between rockets or mortars that pose a genuine threat to Israeli personal or property and those that don't. However, it can become cost-ineffective, especially when dealing with a high volume of attacks, as the Tamir missiles it uses for interception can be considerably more expensive than the rockets or mortars they intercept. The Iron Beam. The Iron Beam could address the cost issue you face. According to the Congressional Research Service, each laser intercept using the Iron Beam is estimated to range from $1 to $10 in terms of powerful output. Moreover, laser-based systems like the Iron Beam offer a substantial advantage in their nearly unlimited depth of magazine. Unlike traditional interceptors that run out and require reloading, lasers can continue operating as long as there's power available. This means they have different constraints in terms of ammunition, enhancing their resilience during prolonged attacks. Power and limitations of laser-based defense systems. Nonetheless, it's essential to understand that while lasers offer advantages, they also have limitations. One significant limitation of the Iron Beam is its powerful output. At 100 kilowatts, it's more powerful than specific lasers utilized by the US and Chinese navies on naval ships. However, it needs to catch up to the power levels expected from some advanced air defense lasers currently in development. There aren't universally accepted standards for laser power. Still, generally a 100 kilowatt laser can handle rockets and potentially small drones, while a 300 kilowatt laser might deal with drone boats and penetrate the side of a cruise missile. To intercept a ballistic missile, you'd typically need at least 1000 kilowatts or 1 megawatt of power. Challenges faced by laser technology. Now, imagine a scenario where you're faced with an incoming hypersonic missile. Even then, there are no guarantees of stopping it. However, power output isn't the sole consideration here. We must also consider specific limitations inherent to laser technology, which is why the iron beam is a logical choice for laser defenses. While intercepting ballistic or hypersonic missiles remains highly unlikely, the iron beam primarily focuses on close-range defense, where these limitations have less impact. Considerations in laser weapon technology. First and foremost, lasers require a direct line of sight to engage a target. This is fine for short-range defense, but becomes challenging when dealing with longer-range marks. Precise beam control is another crucial factor, since lasers transfer heat into a target, which takes time to burn through. For example, a test with a 150 kilowatt laser, approximately 50% more powerful than the iron beam, took about 15 seconds of sustained fire to burn through a small airborne drone. So, lasers don't provide instant threat elimination. They may take some time. Furthermore, maintaining accurate focus on a moving target in the sky is vital. The limitations of laser technology. There are lesser-known limitations as well. Atmospheric scattering, caused by pollution and dust in the air, can scatter a laser beam, reducing its effectiveness. Thermal blooming occurs when a laser is fired in one direction for an extended period, heating the air it passes through and distorting the laser beam's path. While these limitations may not present significant challenges for the iron beam, it's crucial to remember that with current technology, lasers are most practical for close-range defense. Their effectiveness diminishes as you attempt to engage targets at greater distances. The pros and cons of laser technology's role in air defense. Generally, lasers are more suited for blinding or temporarily incapacitating optical sensors on various systems, including satellites, missiles, and aircraft, rather than obliterating them. The effective range of lasers for intercepting targets is somewhat limited. It typically extends to about a mile, and even under the most optimistic estimates, its consent reaches roughly 5 miles. For instance, they aren't practically effective against hypersonic missiles, since they can close the gap faster than the laser can burn through them. Laser developments across nations. In the United States, laser systems have been developing and deployed since 2014. The Navy introduced the 33 kilowatt Class A Q3 laser weapon system, or LOS, as an initial optical dazzler. In 2019, they rolled out the 60 kilowatt Helios system, which they believe can be scaled up to 150 kilowatts for point defense against short-range threats. The Army received the 300 kilowatt indirect fire protection capability high-energy laser, with plans for a 500 kilowatt version. The Air Force has its high-energy laser for AC-130 Ghost Rider gunships. The future of laser technology in air defense. Other countries, such as Russia with its Perseverance system and China with its 30 kilowatt LW-30 mobile road-based laser air defense system, have also joined the field of laser defense. Nonetheless, laser technology remains a long way from being a universal solution for countering air threats, especially against advanced threats like hypersonic missiles. Advantages and limitations. To sum it up, laser technology represents the future of specific air defense applications, particularly in countering drone swarms. Laser technology is poised to revolutionize air defense applications, particularly in countering drone swarms, due to its unlimited power, low operational costs, and ability to engage targets at the speed of light. However, current technical limitations in solid-state laser technology prevent it from completely replacing kinetic intercept systems. The iron beam, expected to be operational soon, is designed to work alongside the Iron Dome, not replace it. Despite rapid advancements, laser technology is unreliable for all air threats. And that completes our video for today. We hope you enjoyed learning the incredible details on laser technology. Which of them are you most excited about? Tell us in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content such as this.